What is lot rent? Well, it's the first question most folks ask when looking at homes in manufactured housing communities. But there's more to it than that. Join me for an in-depth look at lot rents and how to compare them. It might just save you a lot of money. Hello, I'm Russ Watson. I created Florida Manufactured Home Living to enrich the lives of manufactured homeowners and educate the public on its benefits. This is the third in a series covering the resort parks. In this video, we will discuss lot rent. Understanding lot rent and knowing the deal before you sign can save you big money. We will explain lot rent and provide you with some tools to make comparisons. How much can it increase over time? We'll talk about that as well. Let's dig in.
Lot rent is the amount you pay on a monthly basis to rent the land upon which your home sits. This also includes an apportioned share of the cost of running the park. The profit the park owner is making on his investment mostly comes from lot rent as well. In the resorts, this includes amenities such as a clubhouse, swimming pool, tennis courts, etc. In all parks, it includes things like roadways, street lighting, entrance and exit gates, maintenance of common areas, and park management. There are a lot of different ways to think about lot rent. Park owners often compare it with other forms of rental property, such as apartments or homes. In most cases, you'll find it substantially less.
Depending upon your goals, renting anything may or may not make sense. We will discuss this further in an upcoming video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so we can notify you when new videos are posted. Most of our larger parks were built in the 60s, 70s, or 80s. Back then, lot rent was almost always fully inclusive. Apportioned property taxes, municipal fees, garbage, rubbish, some utilities, usually water and sewer, and often park-owned cable TV were all included. Since then, most park owners have broken out all of these expenses into separate charges. This differs greatly from one park to another, even among those owned by the same corporation. It can even be different between houses right next to each other in the same park. I will get into the technicalities of this in a future video. For now, what you need to know is how to figure out what is and what isn't included in the base lot rent. There is another category of charges called user fees. Some parks have additional fees for pets or guests. Most of these fees are associated with added facilities such as RV storage areas, golf courses, marinas, etc. It's hard to remember all the details when looking at several different parks. I put together a simple spreadsheet where you can jot down the numbers. It will also serve as a list of questions when comparing parks. You can download this from our website. The link is in the description below. There are two types of communities in which you will pay lot rent. These are land lease parks and co-op resident-owned communities. But you're saying if it's a resident-owned community, why is there lot rent? Well, not everyone owns a piece of the co-op. Those who do not rent their lot from the co-op under the same rules as those in land lease parks. Shareholders in resident-owned communities pay HOA fees. These could be compared with lot rent, but there are other offsetting costs to owning a share in a resident-owned community. We will dive deeper into those differences in a later video. Please hit the subscribe button so that you will be notified when future videos are posted. There are some terms you need to know when talking about lot rent. Market rent is set by the park owner, and barring any other agreement is what folks in the park are paying for equivalent lots to whatever lot you're looking at. Lots with special features such as waterfront footage, an oversized lot, or perhaps abutting a nature preserve might be priced higher than interior lots of standard size. Another common term is CPI, which stands for the Consumer Price Index. This type of rent was common years ago. When you bought into the park and picked out a lot, you negotiated the base lot rent with the owner. Following that, the owner would issue you a certificate guaranteeing increases to your base rent would be tied to the Consumer Price Index in some manner. Another less common version of this is a clause in the prospectus that makes these guarantees. Lifetime agreement is a term used to describe contracts made with prospective residents guaranteeing either a fixed rent or a specific formula for rent increases. These were quite common when parks were being built in the 80s and 90s. They are still occasionally seen today. So you're thinking, I just need to find someone with one of them their lifetime agreements and buy their place. Maybe. Unfortunately, any agreement made outside the prospectus is not assumable beyond the term of the annual lease. When you purchase a home that is on a lot which was priced at less than market, it will go to market at the end of the previous owner's annual lease term. It will then be subject to market rent increases unless there is an overriding provision in an assumed prospectus. There are exceptions. This is a bit of a complex issue and will be discussed further in a future video. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to be notified when that comes out. For advice on a specific situation, you should consult your attorney. In land lease communities, and for those in resident-owned communities who do not own a share, increases in lot rent should be expected annually. The amount they will go up can be very difficult to determine in advance, unless you're among those lucky enough to have a long-term agreement. Many factors are considered by the park owner in determining an increase. One common myth is that it's somehow tied to Social Security. It's not. By the way, as they say in the stock market business, past performance is no guarantee of future returns. It may go up more, or it may go up less. I've never heard of it going down. If you are buying a new home, it may be possible to negotiate. It is quite common to offer reduced or no lot rent for a certain period of time with the purchase of a new home. Some park owners still offer lifetime rent agreements with their new homes. When buying a pre-owned home, it's a good bet the monthly rent will go to market rate at the end of the current lease agreement. You may be able to save a few bucks by assuming the current lease through the end of its term. It also pays to look at the existing prospectus that goes with that lot to see if there are any more favorable terms with regard to increases. How high can it go? There is no specific minimum or maximum in Florida statutes on lot rent increases. Some parks follow CPI. Some have fixed amounts every year, but most increase by percentage. What we have seen in recent years in the parks owned by investment corporations are increases between 2 and 4% above CPI. The chart shows what one might expect over the course of 15 years based upon inflation levels remaining low. It's up to you to decide if this lifestyle meets your needs and if you can afford it. This is the subject of my book, Retirement in Florida, Manufactured Homes, and the Land Lease Option. There's a link below if you want to get a copy. Now that you understand the basics of lot rent, this should give you the tools to compare parks and evaluate offers. Please hit the subscribe button to be notified when new videos are uploaded. If you found this video interesting, please hit the like button below. It really helps. Questions or suggestions can be entered in the comments. If you currently live in a manufactured housing park or are considering one, I recommend you look at the resources available through my websites and Facebook page. I posted the links in the description below. Thanks for watching and see you next time.